Welcome back to the channel. My name is SV and we are playing Satisfactory Update 5. In the last episode we started the fuel generator build. It is now complete and fully up and running. At least, let's double check if these last ones kicked in or not. You can always tell by the smokestacks. If the smokestacks are going off, that means they're working. Yep. I double checked. Everything is overclocked accordingly. So we're overclocking everything to exactly 194%, 291 milliwatts, and our grid is currently fluctuating because of our geothermal ones, but we are looking at 23,000 and some change. So that's looking really good. Super happy with the way this is going. We've got our awesome sinks going as well, eating up all of the polymer resin. We'll deal with that in a future build. We have a number of excess materials still left. And I built myself a little ladder down here just to move through the base a little bit faster. But I will also, I think, enclose this at some point, unless I decide I want to turn it into a turbo fuel plant. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's looking pretty good. Can maybe do a little bit more symmetry and such, like closing that off to there, bringing that down, that sort of a thing. When we enclose it in the full build, I think we'll do some versions of that as well. And then I'm thinking maybe a train station pulls up into this area here. And then we'll filter all of the polymer resin up that way. And I don't know if that's something we're going to want to use for something. If we're like, I'm not going to build a train station unless we're going to use it, basically. A couple of things I want to do in this video, and I'm sure you're seeing it in the title, but number one, a little bit of a base tour. I want to show you what the new base looks like. And then I want to, we're just going to take some of these things with us. And we're going to start heading over to the new base. So I talked about it a little bit and discussed what the layout and the concept of that new base is going to be. Basically, I want all of my buildings to be on the side of this highway and having them either on either side or underneath or whatever, but like I want this highway to run through and be my go-to, so to be able to jump off of, you know, like I want to come over to the power plant, I could build a train line that basically takes me directly there, and I can jump over to the power plant and troubleshoot if needed or what have you. The fact that it runs underneath our bridge here, I extra super love, because I think that makes it look so much freaking cooler. We will have to figure out what to do with supports and stuff, because I haven't done any supports with the current build. As you can see, like the bridge is completely not supported at all. And I figure we tackle that later when we've got the train network up and running and feeling pretty good. More or less, I think that's the thing that we'll tackle after we discontinue the starter base back there. Because once we discontinue it and we're relying on this one here, we're actually going to be producing materials on a much faster rate. And then I want to do a train line all the way down there to gather all of the resource nodes that are present there. Basically, I want to build. Basically, it's a train for each type of resource node. So I'm thinking all of the sulfur, all of the concrete there, the coal, the iron nodes, the copper nodes, all of those would just be will be trained in to this location. So we're going to come into here. I redid this base probably 3 times before I settled on the concept that you're looking at, or you're going to see here in a moment. And then also I did the one in the valley that I talked about that's like was right around here. a few times, and I just didn't like the way it was turning out, so just continued that. We're using the cart here just to move around without utilizing fuel, but I do have the hypertube obviously here. We're going to take a look at this one here at the end. This is going to be the last thing we look at, but I want to first, let's get some of the materials out of our inventory. As you can tell, I've been making several trips here to build, just random things because, you kind of need to, at some point, pop in here and dump some stuff off. Like I said, this is going to be our go-to base in the future, so having all of this dumped into one location is beneficial for us. Let's move all plastic into this one, and then let's do another one also with plastic. I do use a lot of plastic in this base. We got some screws, we got some. So I'm gonna try to just go pretty empty into this. One thing I do want to build though, do I have the materials? Wire and cable. I'll take one of each. Is a MAM, just so we could research this hard drive. And I'll just leave that there for now. And maybe we just carry the remainder of the stuff with us, or I just do a separate box over here. Now we'll just dump these things in here. Okay. And we'll let that process. But in the meantime, I'm going to walk you through kind of what we've got going on in this area. So I'll show you. And like I said, we'll tackle this open air one here in a sec because it's not complete. A lot of this is not complete, but I wanted to walk you through what's happening here. So next up is we'll explore this factory here to our right in a moment. That's the smelting one that I talked about. But I want to show you just this train station setup and everything that I've got going on over down here as I was trying to kick this whole thing off. Did not realize that there's, by the way, there's like a random Caterium node right there. Don't know what other ones are around here. I haven't really done the scanning or the exploration. Like obviously I haven't even picked up that slug there, but so the idea here is to leave these middle lines open, and then also like to do little bridges over the trains because you can't really go over the train tracks with an Explorer. But I got to figure out like the logistics of a lot of that stuff because I also want hypertubes going into each of the locations and that sort of thing. But okay, so coming down over here, whoop, almost died. 2 train stations, Iron 1 and Iron 2. And so pretty straightforward. These are all set to unload. No, these are all set to load. I'm sorry. These are set to load. And below here is just literally like an intermediate floor. And so right now we're bringing up 8 lines of iron ore. And at the potential of 780. That's how I'm basically doing all of this. I'm using Mark III belts here just as it was the highest belt I had at the time. Well, I had Mark IVs, but I didn't use them. But just to belt it up and just get it moving. And we're not really doing anything with the materials yet, but I wanted to get that going. So here you'll find it's a pure node. of course, because all of our nodes are pure. And since this is a Mark II miner, yep, that's spitting out 240, which obviously is okay for this belt because the belt can support 270. And then each of these are spitting that out. So there, the two over there, this one, and this one. Those are all being fed up into that. I super don't like the way that this looks, but again, some temporary solutions, and we will fix this with having a lift going up when we decide to tackle it. In the beginning, when I first got over to this area and decided I wanted to build a base, this was the first setup I built, and it is a purely efficient or fully 100% efficient build for a Mark II miner on a pure node for concrete, filtered into these constructors. Um, oh yeah, okay. I was like, wait, what? Why are okay? And then this miner coming in, so it's two pure concrete nodes coming into constructors, then being fed into um, the storage container because I obviously needed quite a bit of concrete to start this up, and I really didn't want to keep going back and forth to the base. The moth does not clip through any of this, which is a giant benefit. Let's catch a rat on the train here, because this is our first train that we built. I have no signals built yet, as you would imagine, because we actually don't have additional trains. So it can't run into anything. But the moment I build a train over for iron 1, I'm using iron 2 because um, it was the first one I built it up. And considering I wanted to get materials flowing to see if I saw any kinks in the iron ore process, the smelting process, it was the fastest way for me to get that kicked off. It's got the 4 freight containers, got a relatively easy way to get that on ramp there, and that, of course, we're basically there'll be a little section here that we break out as the stopgap so that train they don't collide. So we'll get signals going there. And here we're about to arrive into our iron ingot smelting factory. And it's decently large for what it is. And I really wanted to take some time to make it a little prettier. A couple of things. One, this all lets out here. And so we've got a full floor that is, well, how do I put this? Okay, so everything splits out here with a smart splitter. These smart splitters are here for a reason. Since I don't plan on having additional stations for iron in, just a consistent flow of iron in, this smart splitter is set to overflow the center, and then the rest goes this way. So right now, if I wanted to build a second floor for the iron smelting column, I could by just bringing this up, which is exactly what we would do, and then basically mirror this setup where the second floor has a smart splitter that says the same thing. One direction is send it out to the remainder of splitters to get it into smelters, and then the other direction is overflow. And so that's the way I envision this working. I also think that we're probably going to have a backup on some train lines, and we might have to add a second station or what have you to get all of the iron imported. But I'm thinking if we're bringing in iron from like over here, we'll be moving fast enough, I think, to get some of this out. And then maybe potentially even using drones in the future to move materials from super long distances, like the desert, into here. Uh, so that's how this works. It gets split. So each of these lines goes, like we'll use this one. So this comes in, goes into a smart splitter. Obviously, all of this is clean, and we don't have an overflow path yet. So all of this will come into this regular splitter. This regular splitter splits into the two lines, this side and this side. This is where output would potentially go and then be fed into a train line over there. I just haven't decided that yet, how I want to deal with the output. But let's take a look at the factory. So the train's back already. I mean, you can see it's going quick, but it also doesn't have to load and unload because it's just been rolling around with full cargo of iron ore because it's long time been done. Let's tackle this from the roadside, and I'll show you what it looks like inside. I have entrances and exits kind of all over the place, and that's on purpose because I want to be able to come in and out whenever I want. So this is our iron smelting factory. I do enjoy this little sign here. Power will be all connected to each building like so. This is a temporary connection. I definitely don't like things like that, but oh, whatever. I built this specifically so that we have a walking path basically all around our factory and we don't have to walk around by the train lines. So when you come in, this kind of gives you the stats of what's currently here, and I would update this as it gets updated. So for example, we have currently 104 smelters producing 3,120 iron ore, well, that's how much iron ore is coming in, I guess. But we could do, yeah, that's how much iron ore is coming in. That's fine. And it's mirrored on this side, and then we have one on that side as well. And so it's just mirrored so that it's nice and clean. I painted the floors, and I also have the floors to be the plastic coated, what is it? The coated concrete here, which uses plastic. And I think it looks so freaking good. Then coming over here, I divided this into like rooms 1A and 1B, 1C, 1D, meaning per floor. I'm leaving this open air in the lobby. So what we're in right now is the lobby. It's open air, meaning when we add new floors, we're leaving this top open and we're just moving up, and then we just have to build the walkway system accordingly to get up to the top floors. So coming in here on the ground floor, we've got the 26 smelters per floor because this equals a full 780 line. We've got lights here, but they're set to actually, you know what? Let's just turn it off. We'll turn night mode off. I've got a light switch right here, right when you walk in. You've got lights all across the lobby here as well. And then coming into here, you've got the lights, which I think looks really nice because they're just touching kind of the front half of each of the smelters. Very clean, very walkable. I love the painting of the walkways and the caution. Unfortunately, I can't do this walkway and the caution at the same time, but I feel like it's okay. Coming in here, this tells you you're going into room 1B. Same exact layout, easy. I don't have a sign here. We'll do a sign if we build a different factory in this area. So let's go back this way, and oh, this sign tells you you're going into lobby /1A. Okay, and then that obviously tells you you're going into lobby. And then it's mirrored on this side, so no difference on this side really. But I'll also show you what the second floor looks like. I think this looks especially good also with the lights here. And then again, you still have the rooms 1C, 1D. From up here, I feel like it looks really good. I added these metal beams and then attached all of the power to those, making it, I think, a super, super clean build. And then again, I think the lights look really fantastic, just lighting up this experience. At night, actually, I don't know if I've seen this at night, but I would imagine it looks really nice. And you've got power running in here, and this power powers the lights up here. And that's strictly what this is for, just to power the lights up above, because I didn't want like some cable being like that. Coming in here, same thing. Now here's where things change up a little bit, because this is technically the end of the smelting factory, so what's this? Well, I wanted a way to walk around our like mini city here, and oh, this should actually be like a little crosswalk, so I'll have to change that. I don't have any paint stuff on me. So I wanted a way to walk between these without having to worry about like, oh, getting over the train lines or whatever. So I built little walkways between the buildings. And then as we enter in here, and this building is far from finished, but similar concept where um, this building is all about smelting. This building is all about producing something with iron ingots. And so we're coming into this building, and basically it's got 3 buildings inside of the one building, and that's why I'm encasing it into this wall. I just haven't finished the wall yet. But in here, this is where iron plates are made. And as you could tell, I ran out of plastic at some point. And this is where all iron plates are made. Then I've got a nice little like hallway between the 2 buildings just to differentiate, and I'll have signage that says which one is which. Here's where all iron rods are made. Pretty big setup for iron rods, and this is assuming a 780 line of iron ingots coming in, which we can assume because we're producing them over there. So this would produce, ooh, I'd have to do the math on, I think it's also 780, because I think it's 1-to-1 for iron rods. Yep. So a substantial amount of iron rods coming out. Okay. Then coming over here, another hallway. And again, this would be a hallway because there would be a barrier wall there. And then this is going to be the lobby for our constructing building. So, and I'll literally put the stats of what's here. But actually, I think I might break this out to be more like a plat, like a sign here, a sign here, sign here, here. Like basically have multiple different ones. One that talks about iron plates, one talks about iron rods, one talks about screws. Speaking of screws, that's where we're going to next. Let me tell you, screws is a wild build. Look how big this is. And this is assuming one 780 line of iron ingots. This is how many constructors screws takes. And this is just one floor. So if I wanted to do another line, so and I don't know what the ratio is out of it, so we're doing casted screws. We're going straight into iron from iron ingots to screws. So it's 50 per. Okay, how many are here? That's 3, 4, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 times 50, so that's 650 for just one of these lines. So let's see how many screws come out of one 780 line. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think, okay, let's do this times 4. So that's 2,600 screws, and then this is 50 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 550, and that's 650 times 4 plus 550. It's 3,150 screws per minute per floor just off of one 780 line. So I don't think we're going to have a problem with screws. I think we'll be okay on that front. Well, honestly, on iron rods or iron plates or any of that stuff, because I think iron plates is like 30 to 20, which is a pretty nice little ratio, which means we can fit it onto a Mark V belt, no problem. I actually have to look to see if we would fit it onto a Mark IV belt. Let's see how many constructors are in here. Far and away the smallest build. So it's 26. We know that because 26 times 20. So it's 520, which means we can't fit it on a Mark IV. It has to go on a Mark V. Mark IV only supports 480. So we are future prepping for what this is going to look like in upcoming, like once we get Mark Vs. But you know, a lot of times when you build stuff like this, then you similar to like our iron coming in to our smelting factory there. And actually I'm thinking about this lately, is like because this stops on between these two tiles, I'll probably end up moving the train station over so that they're all in line, because what I would potentially do is build the next train station right next to it here, and what it would do is I wouldn't want it to join this line because I don't want to back up the trains that are coming in here, so I'll probably just do a straight line this way, and then it feeds, and it will kind of curve in and down into this, and then I will also have like a line that basically comes in case we are doing iron literally anywhere else. If I decide I want to do like a small, maybe there's one node by itself completely somewhere else and I have drones bringing it in, or whatever the hell, I don't know. And then so that comes in here, iron ingots get unloaded and then added into the factory as you see it here. I have to figure out how I want to tackle this, because this is, well, I guess each of the iron ingot trains can be 3 cars big, and that's how they just unload. So like one car, different freight car, and then the screws is another freight car there. So that's kind of the plan to get this thing kind of a rolling. Now, as you could tell, I didn't belt this up yet because part of this is I ran out of materials, and going back and forth to the base is quite long. Cone, let's see. No. Recycled rubber, yes. This would be a good one because you could build a wild loop with some of this stuff. So we're going to take that one because that's actually one we'll likely use in the future. But as you can tell, I have no belts here, no Mark 3 belts to continue. I think I might have stuff for Mark 4, but I didn't even bring the Mark 4 stuff. But yeah, I wanted to show you the idea of this. I think the next thing I'm going to do, because traveling by hypertube is totally fine, but I also kind of want to have like a train that I can go there, haul giant materials with me, so I might actually just build a train station right here as a temporary solution to go to the starter base and back in totally manual process. Like I would drive it there because I'm not going to build a train station on that end. I'll just build basically an end of the line. Um, Actually thinking of it, I could probably just build a track because we're going to have to build a track anyway, although this hypertube is of course in the way. Um, so yeah, maybe that's what we do in the next video, as that could be a nice little project to be able to bring materials back and forth and really get this factory up and running, because the traveling back and forth to get materials to build things is really the biggest problem. But I think we're going to call the video here. The last one was super long because we built the fuel generator plant, and it is in full swing, and I love it. Our consumption is not even 4,000, and we're producing 23,000. And it varies because of our geothermals. And our battery banks have been full forever. I might build a giant battery bank, maybe over by the fuel generator farm, just to supplement in case we overextend ourselves for a while. But again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying the series. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.